Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Anime. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And David had me watch the entire series of Golden Boy, all 6 episodes.
Yeah, wasn't very long.
It was very long.
Depending on how you wanted to take it, which in both of our cases was
And I had David watch the debut show for AEW, Double or Nothing.
Yes.
So why don't you start off with Golden Boy?
Yes.
Why does this exist?
Quite honestly, I kind of asked myself that as well. But it was kind of a case of a passion project of the original creator who started with a manga discussing about all the particular stories from this.
I did a little research on this.
Oh?
And I read about what happens in this manga, at least the general strokes.
Sadly didn't get that far. I wouldn't be surprised with the particular things.
So, this series is based off of Volume 1. This is the non-perverted part. It goes straight up hentai.
Yes.
Which I can see based on this anime.
Yeah.
'Cause it's fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one note I took while watching all 6 episodes. Allow me. Jesus Japan, what the fuck is she wearing? Why? How? Why is it so tight we can clearly see her nipples?
Which, quite honestly, just basically explains the first episode.
Oh, and also, why in, I think it's episode 4 or 5, is some chick fucking a motorcycle?
Yeah, that also happens. But, to get more to the basis of the main story, we are introduced Kirijo Heya, a freeder. Essentially a guy that just goes around doing part-time jobs. Riding around on his bicycle. Without a helmet, I might add.
Yeah, basically he's going around Japan trying to learn about life, even though he's 25 and apparently has a law degree just kinda waiting for him.
Yeah, pretty much. Has all the credits he needs.
Okay.
But it just turns out he's one of those crazy people that just likes to study. All the studying. But mostly about girls.
So, okay. Problem 1, when he's riding his bike.
Yes.
And he's pedaling, and just study. Fuck you.
Yeah. That was fairly annoying. Hey, I somewhat agree, and we'll get into it with the first episode, where he decides to join up with a computer company to help out with basic sort of work, and he even learned a bit of computer programming.
He learned basic, and they make fun of him for it. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay. So he gets hired by this computer company, this, software company.
Yes.
And then it's all like, well, your shit.
Yeah.
Clean the toilets.
Now, if you want to work, we need someone to clean the toilets. Which, oh boy.
He gets a little too excited about.
Yeah.
He has some kind of weird toilet fetish, and it's disturbing.
It's the fact that he's so incredibly perverted and just... Out of most things, that's the one thing I probably could not stand with this.
Oh, it's so bad. I shouldn't say bad. It's frustrating.
It's mostly a case that the entire story is based around this character, which, in most relative senses, is fine, but it's a case that we see all of his thoughts and most of his reactions to cute girls, which result in a whole lot of perviness.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's hentai anime, so... Well, not all the way to that, but still. About as much as they could get away with.
Yeah. So basically, he's a fucking idiot. Because he ends up unplugging their server.
Yeah.
Thinking that this is going to make the president of the company love him because he's going to save her half a cent a day in electricity.
Yeah. Concerns of saving electrical power.
Fucking numpty.
Yeah.
There's no power button on it. I better just unplug it.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, most assuredly. But, despite the fact that he's a complete idiot, he was smart enough to actually program their entire program, make it somewhat functional, and leave it on a floppy for them.
How did... Okay, so
Protagonist syndrome.
So he programmed this in like a day and was able to like condense and optimize the file size to be small enough to fit on a floppy.
Yeah, basics of the program.
That's 1.44 megabytes.
Meh.
That's not a lot of space. He must have really good compression software or something going on.
He likes to study.
Too much.
Yeah.
So basically he ends up saving the company because he can program somehow.
But of course, without taking any praise, he gets on his bike and travels off to another location to do other things.
Oh, fuck. So then we get to episode 2, where he's working as a campaign staffer for a mayor, candidate running for mayor.
Yes.
And he's assigned to tutor his boss's teenage daughter. Oh, fucking hell.
Not so much. It was kind of a case that he
yeah.
discovered where their place was,
Yeah.
and the daughter herself asked to be tutored.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be more so of a scheme to drive him insane and have him as some sort of crazy toy for her own amusement. And the concern that if anyone did discover that he was supposedly doing any of the funny stuff, her dad would find out and he'd most likely get offed.
Yeah, because they do say that, like, her dad is connected to the Yakuza.
Yeah.
So, Homeboy's probably going to get his head chopped off.
No.
Or some
But as
bullshit.
it turns out, the closest that they got was beating the ever-loving snot out of him.
He does have he has a couple of funny lines.
No, with
I
this
will
one.
give them that. He says something about, like, does she want to... Oh, I can't remember the exact line, but it's something like, does she want to ride the love salami or something?
Oh, yes.
Which I'm like, well done. Like, that's pretty funny.
It's also an addition that this is a dubbed series, and I'm pretty sure the translation was probably alright, but they probably had to stretch a couple of things to somewhat match
Of
the
course
animation.
they did. But it's so dumb. And, like, the audio quality is not terribly good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, on to episode 3. I'm going to get to this fucking quick as possible. Because it was fucking painful. A car accident has left the owner of an udon restaurant temporarily handicapped. And Homeboy shows up trying to help out and learn the trade. The owner's daughter has this guy going after her.
More so of a crush on him.
Well, she doesn't seem interested in him, though. Really.
With the main
He's pursuing her. No, the other dude.
No, she definitely has a crush on him.
I disagree. Anyway, who's like, what the fuck is his plan here?
Let's see if I can remember the
This
specifics.
didn't make any sense to me.
So, he had his girlfriend hit the store owner so that they'd lose the money and he'd have to sell his store to him so that he could use it to create a different business so that his girlfriend could supposedly work at a business.
How the fuck does that make any sense?
Well, quite honestly, I think it was a larger plan of the fact that he wanted the business for his own means. He was probably going to drop the girl and just have it for his own business and make a whole bunch of money.
It's like a tiny-ass noodle shop.
Yeah,
How much money are you gonna make off this tiny-ass noodle shop?
property's property, especially with those types of schemers.
I guess, but like... Oh, I don't know. I just think it's dumb.
About as dumb as all the other particular things that goes on within this episode. When our protagonist finds out about this, which, literally, he just sits outside the car, hears the entire plan, knocks on
I
the
wasn't
window, it's
standing outside your car, I was sitting outside your car. Bravo.
and of course, after he hears about it and gets threatened not to tell, he does so just so that he doesn't hurt the girl's feelings.
I don't get...
It's better since it doesn't have as many pervy moments within this episode, but there's still a lot of idiocy. Oh, the idiocy.
It's... I mean... Sure, it's not as pervy as the previous 2 episodes, but it's still... You know. Anyway, moving along as quickly as possible to episode 4. The swimming episode. Fucking hell.
It's tradition.
I don't care. It shouldn't exist.
Well, what? It turns out to be an incredibly good swimming teacher. He teaches kids who can't really swim how to swim.
Yeah, because the other teachers are terrible. They're just like grabbing the kid and shoving their head underwater.
Oh, trust me, I've had those experiences in real life.
That's not a good teacher.
Yeah, no.
You should not be working with children if you're trying to drown them.
No, it wasn't so much a case of drowning them. It's just a case of getting them past their fear of going under the water.
By drowning them?
Well, at least dunking in their face.
That's not gonna help.
No, hence why I'm not a swimmer.
Here, allow me to solve your fear of knives by stabbing you.
Nah, what would make more sense is just having the blade really close to the eye. Just being like, it's right there, but it's not close.
What the
Indubitably.
Okay, so he challenges this, like, local swimming coach and former Olympic athlete who apparently just is a swimming coach now.
Meh.
Okay. But he doesn't know how to swim.
Yeah, no. No. Amazing animation for showing him that he can't swim, though.
And basically he's like trying to teach these kids how to swim while learning how to swim himself. Which, who the fuck hires somebody who can't swim as a swimming instructor?
Well, they did make a deal.
I still feel like that's really dumb.
Yeah, true. But still, they made a deal.
Yeah, anyway. Fuck this. Moving on to episode 5.
Oh, yes. Episode 5.
So, this is just the motorcycle fucking episode.
Yeah, a bit. Also him getting a job as a servant at a very esteemed and proper Japanese establishment.
Yeah, he works for this, like, wealthy family, but is quickly fired.
Not true. The actual job he's fired from.
Yeah. And then... Yeah, the daughter's fucking a motorcycle. And I know that seems ridiculous, me saying that, but it basically is what's happening.
No, pretty much. Then, of course, you also have to understand with her being within that sort of standing with her family, having to do all those particular sorts of things. Think how you would supposedly feel with those sorts of things.
I wouldn't fuck a motorcycle.
How about we dive onto the internet and see how many other crazy fetishes have supposedly been developed?
I don't care. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. But, like...
Still.
I don't want to watch a show about somebody who fucks a motorcycle.
Thankfully, I'll do my best to be sure that I won't pick out any other anime that has that.
It's like, let me put it this way. If NBC started airing a show this fall called Motorcycle Fucker, I wouldn't tune in.
No.
Or if they were airing a show like, You Won't Believe What This Person Fucks, I wouldn't tune in.
Duh. The crazy thing is, some people will.
I'm sure they would, but I wouldn't.
Duh.
Anyway, moving on to episode 6, which is probably the best episode?
No, I would most likely agree. And it's the self-insert episode!
Yeah, so he gets a job working for an animation studio as kind of just like an errand boy.
None.
Production difficulties ensue, and he has to rely on everybody from the previous episodes basically to pull things through.
It's also the callback episode!
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And they have to make this movie about an Oni that gets released by a bunch of, like, kids.
Yeah, bunch of kindergartners.
Yeah.
And the kindergartners save the day!
I get... Oh, okay. Like, this wasn't terrible. This could have... I was actually like, I would watch a full movie about an animation studio. That could be interesting.
I think the most interesting thing was, A, this is a self-insert episode because it literally has the person who created the manga as one of the characters.
Yeah.
Secondly, you want to save on using actual animation? Just take a photo! They do that a couple times in this episode.
Yeah. I didn't like this.
No, it's understandable.
I really hated this.
That's also
Except
understandable.
episode 6. I was like, if episode 6, A, turned down the perviness, and B, was longer and more interesting, I probably would have liked that. But you didn't need to have, like, fucking Tits Ahoy again. That's what I'm going to call that chick from episode 1 now. Because, I mean, she didn't have a personality.
Aside from being a bit snobby-ish and having
She didn't have much of a character.
Yeah, strange fashion sense.
But she had tits. That were frequently on display. Okay, was there anything else you wanted to mention about this?
Well, like you, at the start of this, I thought, oh dear goodness, what the heck did I just dive into? But despite that, the main character and golden boy of the series isn't terrible. Because on the one hand, despite the fact that he's incredibly pervy and wants all that, he doesn't seek it. He doesn't push it upon any sort of particular woman for it. And his general personality is kind and respectful in most cases, aside from when his energies get a little high.
When he goes full out pervert.
Yeah.
It's like his superpower.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think the only one bad thing is that he essentially leaves 6 to 7 girls without a date.
And then I had to sit through 5 of those episodes. That's the real crime here.
Yeah, I suppose. At the very least, you supposedly pay me back for that last show that you showed me with the penis druids.
All In was a great show. I know you didn't like the penis druids, but they were funny, goddammit.
Well, it left me mildly concerned for the wrestling show you decided to show me this time, since it was essentially written and worked with the same sort of people.
Mostly. There are a few different people involved now, so David's obviously referring to AEW's Double or Nothing. So what do you know about AEW?
I believe they were fairly new, just with the couple particular times that they were showing with other specific events and other things going on.
Yeah, so this was technically their first show.
I can't remember exactly how recent it was. Either 2016, maybe 2017 or so, I think it happened, or...
No, so this company was announced this January, and this show took place in May.
Ah, okay. So, a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Since I knew of a couple particular things that they were talking about and a couple particular people in the show, but I wasn't sure how far back time-wise it sort of was, since most of the stuff you showed me had been a couple of years back.
Yeah, I picked this because it's quite current and because they're getting on TV in a few months. October 2nd, they announced their premiere date. Anyway, AEW Double or Nothing sold out in under 4 minutes.
Yes, they were advertising that. It's like, oh man!
4 minutes to sell 11,000 tickets. Well, not quite 11,000 because they had to hold back some for the general sale. That was the pre-sale. Anyway, so May 25th, 2019 in the MGM Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, technically not in Las Vegas. It's technically in Paradise. With an attendance of approximately 11,000 people. So, let's start off with the arena. Do you remember anything about kind of how it looked or anything like that?
It was fairly fancy. Typical sort of ring design, but had the fancy chandelier design lighting system, all the coin or chips and whatnot, displaying all the particular stuff like that.
Because there's a gambling theme, which makes sense because they're in Vegas.
And whatnot.
And I love that they have like the 2 entrances.
Ah, yes, the 2
which I think is really cool because you have one for baby faces and one for heels. Which makes logical sense if you're going to present this as a sport, right? So the first matchup is, well, at least on the main show, we're not going to talk about the buy-in, which was like their pre-show
sort of stuff. No, they spoke about it, but it was like, oh, did Paul just give me part of the show? Did I miss the pre-show things?
I gave you the main card, not the pre-show. So match 1 is SCU, SoCal Uncensored, which is Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, and Scorpio Sky versus Strong Hearts, which is Shima, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann. So what did you think of this match?
Well, I didn't have high hopes getting into it.
Why?
Because SCU had the particular tone that leaves me a little bit wary, with them being...
Was it Christopher Daniels like General's jacket? Where he's dressed like he's like some war hero?
Costume-wise, it wasn't that bad.
So
it was mostly
good.
just attitude of them like, oh, we hate Las Vegas, you bad people. Just like, oh.
It's so good because the crowd is playing into it.
Nah.
Like they're heels, but they're not really.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, technically they are dickheads, but they're really entertaining.
We'll get more into it as a bit, but in this case, I didn't really see them coming off that much as heels with this sort of thing. Just like, yeah, I can tolerate this. But as it came in with Strong Hearts, it was interesting to see that sort of team come in for that match that was there. I believe it was the case that...
Yeah, so Strong Hearts are from OWE, which is Oriental Wrestling Entertainment,
Yes.
which is a new company in China. Shima, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann, I believe, are all Japanese. They were, I know, at least Shima was trained by the Dragon Gate Dojo as well as in Mexico.
Yes.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I think it's really fun.
No, with this one, it's definitely good. Typical type that I like to sort of see with a bit more acrobatics and other sorts of techniques that they have within
It's
this
very
one.
fast-paced.
Oh, incredibly fast-paced with that.
You can't, this isn't Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. These guys are, running around, hitting crazy moves. I think it's a great way for AEW to kind of, this match is kind of like, if you're bored of WWE, this is what we're going to present. And I think it's really good in that way.
No, I think in most cases with everything that they sort of showed, and even with SCU at the end sort of beating them out at the end, I wasn't disappointed with it at all. Just, it was entertaining match to start with.
Yeah, I really like the booking in this entire card because SCU does win, but Strong Hearts still look good. They don't look like losers. They're still treated like these guys are still really fucking good. Yeah. So let's move on to match 2, which is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Kylie Rae versus Nyla Rose, until Brandy Rhodes comes out and adds someone to the match.
Ah, yes, the surprise visit from Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong. Oh, fuck yes.
Well, at the very least, it makes it somewhat even.
So, you're not really a wrestling fan. I'm assuming you didn't know who Awesome Kong was.
Not specifically Awesome Kong. I believe out of most every woman in the ring, I think the only one that I somewhat know of is Kylie Rae.
You would have also seen Britt Baker. She would have been at All In.
Possibly, but I think just recognizing Kylie Rae was the one that stood out. And in most cases, why? Why did they have to choose that character for her?
What?
Ditzy.
Well, she's not ditzy. She's just happy.
Ditzy, happy girl sort of thing.
I think her booking's fine. I think the character works. Because at least she's all, smiley and stuff until she gets pissed off.
Until that sort of point. Just at the start, it was like, why?
My favorite part is, where Awesome Kong comes out, and she's, getting in the ring, and Kylie's like, hi!
Oh,
it's
no.
don't you get you're about to be murdered.
No, I have that point of Awesome Kong gets announced. The ref's like, oh god.
Everybody's like, oh shit.
The other girls are like, oh god. Kylie's like, oh hi, good to see you.
It's so good.
Ugh.
Having Awesome Kong is a great surprise.
A bit, though, it was kind of a case that she wasn't really that much of a factor within the match.
No,
Where she had a couple moments and whatnot, which worked, but in most cases it was still left to the three main girls.
Yeah, and I mean, she's there to pop the crowd. And, I mean, to set up matches in the future. Because, her versus Nyla Rose is fucking money.
No, that definitely works.
So what did you think of this match?
It definitely worked with the particulars. Again, it was a case that, sure, they announced Awesome Kong. It's like, oh man, but she didn't get used too much, which is...
No, but they also kind of have to protect her. Because,
I suppose in most cases.
She's going to have other big matches later that they want to save her for.
I suppose, but I don't know. I honestly think that Randy Rhodes probably would have had a better time just picking somebody else that would have had a little bit more action to supposedly make it more exciting, as she said. though with the couple things that Awesome Kong did do, it was definitely entertaining. As it was with Kylie Rae, wasn't happy with the happy start the stuff, but she did work through this and did have a couple of interesting moments. She lost the bow, though. That was just an instant defeat.
Yeah, Awesome Kong is really great. Because, like, I like Awesome Kong because she's unique looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has a unique look, and she's like, a credible threat.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Britt Baker ends up getting the win after hitting an Oshigoroshi. Which, I don't know if she, like, didn't hit the... No, like, that's the move. I don't know if she didn't hit it clean, or if it's just a bad camera angle, because it looks really shitty. So Dr. Britt Baker is legitimately a dentist.
Yeah.
Like, she has a practice. Which I love.
Beat your teeth in and gives you the bill for fixing it.
Pretty much, yeah. And Nyla Rose is... I'm trying to think of the right word, but she's a unique add to the match and to the company because she would never get signed by WWE.
Yeah, I can supposedly see it. In most cases, just sort of looking at the first lineup, it's like, well, Nyla's probably gonna clean house with this.
Yeah, so...
Then, with Awesome Kong, it sort of had the competition between the other two girls sort of competing as well in the match. Pretty much everyone sort of matched up decently with the couple of bouts that they had within this match. Though, again, I'm not too surprised that Baker finished out with everything.
Oh, no, like, she's going to be, like, the premier star of that division.
Mm.
And the reason I say that is when they did the TV upfronts, which is basically where shows go to pitch to advertisers, she was the only woman they took with them.
Yeah.
So she's going to be the focal point of that division.
Yeah.
The reason I say Nyla Rose would never get signed by WWE is she is a transgendered woman.
Ah.
And WWE would not touch that with a 10-fucking-foot pole.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along to match 3, it's the Best Friends versus Angelico and Jack Evans.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the Best Friends, who are Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta?
Oh man, they're fairly decent. They need to give the hug.
It's so good.
And why did they deny him the hug the first time?
It's so good. Where, like, they put both... Angelico and Jack Evans are in the corner and they go to give each other a hug.
Hmm?
And then they drop kick both of them. It's so good.
Jerks.
So, you don't really get to see much of their entrance video, unfortunately, in this. Because it's amazing.
Oh, within this particular match, I literally heard it when he supposedly said it. I can't remember the specific name of the one member, but one of the guys takes the Falcon Arrow and gets pinned by it, but he...
Yeah, Excalibur yells, like, nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow, and then
yes.
he kicks out of it, and Chuck Taylor's like, nobody fucking kicks out of that! Which is a great PWG joke. But, you know, that's good.
Turned out really good.
So what did you think of Angelico and Jack Evans?
Yeah.
Angelico is really good.
Hmm.
And Jack Evans is too. I just have an issue with how it's booked. Because it's really fast-paced, it's a lot of fun, but Jack Evans kicks out of fucking everything.
Yeah, he does.
Like, so many things that should be the finish, he's just like, you get out of it.
Yeah, no. You didn't get me with that.
It's so... Because, like, he gets hit with so many, like, pile drivers and all sorts of shit, and he keeps kicking out of it. And I'm like, God damn it, can we, like, protect a few moves every once in a while?
Which I think was one of the particular things with the whole series of matches that you showed me. Around this sort of point, though, it was a case of, oh man, this is going so long.
This match is only 12 and a half minutes.
Well, with binge watching most everything in a night.
Yeah, so my thing was, it seems like they planned a 20-minute match and had to cut to 12.
Okay.
There's just far too much happening all at once. After the match, the Best Friends win, and after the match, the Super Smash Brothers debut. Although don't call them the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, with that I suppose, but in case that lights black out, it's like, what's going on? And then two random guys show up with all of their little minions and beat the ever-loving snot out of everybody.
Yeah, they're called the Dark Order now, because they can't call them the Super Smash Brothers on TV.
Curse you, supposed gay company!
Also, the Human Throne visual is really cool.
Eh.
Oh, where player Uno sits down on a guy's back and they're all like, oh, it's so good.
I can
love it.
somewhat understand it, but I'm still like, eh.
I think it's a cool visual. Anyway, let's move on to match 4. Okay.
Was this the thing that you were supposedly worried that would drive me insane?
No, that comes later.
Ah,
So match 4 is Riho versus Ryo Mizunami and Hikaru Shida versus Aja Kong, Emi Sakura, probably butchered that, and Yuka Sakazaki.
yes.
So what did you think of this match?
It's the anime match.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Except it's good.
But of course, when it all comes down to it, look, a distraction!
It's a lot of fun, even though somebody fucks up, like the timekeeper fucks up and rings the bell too early. At one
Oh, yes, within this match. And I sadly can't remember the wrestler. I mostly just remember from her more frilly pink and white outfit. But her flexibility and strength is amazing with what she did within that match. Case that, can't remember the exact move, but kind of a German suplex sort of thing.
Okay.
Got flipped around. And then Emmy, I believe, was who she was wrestling, literally got onto her and sort of tried to knock her down. And she kept her composure with that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I wrote down that Hikaru Shida, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura could all be big stars if they were signed full-time in the West. Because they're all really good and they're all, like, unique enough.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, Hikaru is the one that comes out with the robe and, like, the kendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she's got a really good look, and, like, the robe and everything, that's just great. Yuka Sakazaki, I mean, she's the magical girl.
Yeah.
And Emi Sakura is the one who is, well, I mean, she's Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And then the crowd actually at one point starts chanting, "We will rock you."
No.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh, and the match with the metal bin and the kendo stick.
Yeah, so Aja Kong is in this match, and I know you don't know who Aja Kong is, but what did you think of Aja Kong? It's hard to miss Aja Kong.
Though, very true. But it was kind of a case of, wait a minute, why is there a gentleman fighting with these couple of women as well? It's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, Aja Kong is, I mean, I'm just gonna put this out there. They're booking Aja Kong versus Awesome Kong, probably for their next pay-per-view. And when that was kind of announced, I just kind of said, shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
No. That definitely makes sense.
Alrighty, so let's get to match 5.
Oh, boy.
Which is Cody versus Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, the two brothers.
Yep. So why don't you tell people what the basic story going into this match is? Because I gave you a video package to kind of catch you up.
A little bit. It's kind of a case of, I guess that Dustin is still wrestling despite his age.
Yeah, I mean, he had been in WWE fairly recently. I mean, he wasn't obviously working as much as he did 20 years ago, because he's legitimately 50 years old, and still really fucking good.
And Cody's trying to get him to stop wrestling, pass the torch along, sort of thing.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, Cody cuts this really great promo, because they were doing, like, YouTube videos to lead up to this. And there was one that was basically the entire episode was Cody just cutting a promo on his brother. And, like, he's talking about his brother like he's an old, like, decrepit, like, horse or something. And he's like, at a certain point, you've ridden the animal until it's dead, and it wants to die. So you pull from the hip, you roll your fingers along the steel of the barrel, and you blow it away.
Ooh. I mostly correlated it with how I correlate things within my mind to a particular comic book character believe Black Cat was his name. Typical older superhero that was known as a fighter and just fights. And I think it was from a Justice League episode sort of thing. The characters had to fight him in a match to sort of get him to, hey, you need to stop this and be a bit more careful or you're going to die in doing this.
Yeah. So, the first note I took on this match is the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome," and they haven't touched yet. They're literally standing in opposite corners doing nothing. Before the bell rings, the crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome." WWE could have had this match on 3 separate occasions, and Vince said, "Nah, there's no money in that."
Well, it's kind of surprising. It's Vince.
But, like, oh, okay. I don't get that. So why don't you tell kind of people what happens in this match?
So,
Other than Dustin bleeding.
that's pretty much the only thing that does bloody happen in this match. So, as it kind of sits, I don't like bleeders. If it's from a typical hit and they get a bleeding nose, that's fine. If any of the particular guys blade, though,
Well, he didn't blade. He scalped himself.
But anywho's, just within this match, it's easy enough to see that Cody is the young buck in the match and just easily runs circles around Dustin. But anytime that Dustin gets a move in, it works. He still has the skill to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And just that it goes on, they do not give in, it matches up as well. The fact that you literally see blood stream down his face, whether or not that was actually blood or any sort of other particular like that, it's just, the fact that Cody was literally covered in the stuff by the end of the match.
Okay, so there's a point where Dustin gets busted open, which is quite early in the match. And Cody just wipes the blood on his chest. Such a good visual.
A bit, as well as the ew.
Well, yeah, but, and Dustin just bleeds buckets.
I'm honestly surprised that he could actually make it through the match with A, not being able to see, B, losing that much blood, and B, moving around that much.
Yeah, but Dustin's still really fucking good.
Even with all that stuff, it was mildly amazing.
And being 50 years old and having worked for 30 years.
It's a mild bit ridiculous. But match goes, Cody wins, starts to walk out, stops, sort of turns back and goes back in. And I can't remember all the specifics of what he said.
Basically, so what they had done, they never stated that Dustin was going to retire after this. But it was heavily implied.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like Dustin was talking about one last ride. And things like that. Where it's heavily implied he's retiring here.
Yeah.
So then, continue.
So, he goes back to the ring, grabs a mic, and starts talking about another particular match that's going to be coming up where Cody needed to sign up as well as a partner.
Yeah, so Cody signed for a match against the Young Bucks at one of their next shows called Fight for the Fallen.
So, he signed up and needed a partner, and he didn't want, as he supposedly put it, any sort of friend or...
No, he says, I don't need a partner, I don't need a friend, I need my older brother.
And just the emotion that he put into it.
Yeah.
You literally made me cry at one of these wrestling episodes, you bastard!
It's so good. And it works so well. And I love it. And I just wrote the note that just says they just stole the goddamn show.
They did.
It's so good. And it's a very, so at the beginning of the match, the fans are chanting Dusty, Dusty Rhodes. And I'm like, this is such a Dusty match. This is a match that in the 70s Dusty would have had. It's basically a Dusty Rhodes match. I mean, it's a little bit more, high-flying than Dusty, but other than that, the storytelling and everything, very much clearly inspired by that style. So...
And not only that, once the match was over, everybody was tearing up, even the announcers.
Yeah. Even JR makes a great joke. He's like, I'm not crying, I have allergies.
In my case, it was seeing Excalibur literally going under his mask to wipe away the tears.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, and once they head into the next match after the commercial break, you kind of see the ring's gotten a little bit more red.
Well, they put a thing in it.
Yeah.
So next we have Bret Hart coming out to show off the AEW World Title. So this is the first time anybody's seen the belt, and it looks great. It looks very much like a New Japan belt, I think.
Oh. No.
But it's a really nice design. So Bret brings out Adam Page, who had won a... technically, I think it was called a Battle Royal, but it was kind of a mix of that and like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Essentially, last man standing in the rings.
Kind of, yeah.
On.
He won that on the pre-show, and that gave him the right to challenge to be the first champion at their next pay-per-view, All Out. So then MJF comes out.
Oh, yes.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yes, I can't remember the particular name of the gentleman, but the Olympic wrestler that expects everyone to love him despite the fact that everyone thinks he sucks. This is...
Oh, Kurt Angle.
This is Kurt Angle 2.0, supposedly.
No, I don't think... Because Kurt Angle's whole thing was like... He was oblivious.
No, in this case, I mostly related to snob sort of person expects everyone to love him because he's supposedly great.
Yeah, but he is great. He's so good. Like, his promo is so funny. He says to Adam Page, a horse can't be the face of this company. And then when Adam Page goes to attack him, he's like, whoa, Seabiscuit. It's so good.
No, I was mostly content when the Jungle Boy and Jimmy Havoc decided to come out.
So do you know who Jungle Boy is?
Not specifically Jungle Boy, no.
Okay, Jungle Boy is Jack Perry. Now, does that name ring a bell?
No.
Okay, he's the son of Luke Perry.
Okay.
You don't know who Luke Perry is?
Not ringing a bell, no.
He was an actor.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. That just died a death.
It did.
So MJF comes out, cuts a promo, and it's amazing. Because he's just a dickhead. But he's super entertaining. And I just wrote the note that he's going to be a huge face in a few years unless he does something dastardly. Because he's so entertaining. People are just going to start to cheer him.
Yeah.
So yeah, then Jimmy Havoc and Jungle Boy come out and run off MJF.
Yes.
Which is great.
Thank goodness.
MJF's amazing. So next up is the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks.
Yes.
So what did you think of this? So this is for the AAA tag titles. It's the only title match on the show, too.
No, with this one, it was definitely fairly interesting just with all the movements with this
All the flips?
Yeah,
there are a lot of flips in this match.
Yeah, many flips. Mostly it was kind of a case of going in with the story that they kind of had at the start of it, with Young Bucks sort of trying to build themselves up a little bit from stuff that supposedly happened.
Yeah, so the basic story is the Young Bucks have only had 2 other matches this year because they're helping put this company together. And the Lucha Brothers have had like 40-some matches. And the Young Bucks, in their second match of the year, went to Mexico and won the AAA tag titles from the Lucha Brothers. And now they're having to defend them at Double or Nothing. And the Lucha Brothers are pissed, and they're amazing. Especially Pentagon. He's the mask, like the darker mask. And he
older
does
brother?
Yeah. Sierra Medo.
Yes, Sierra Medo.
So, what did you think of this match?
Again, just with all the acrobatics and whatnot with this. This was starting to get to the point where I had a bit of burnout when I watched it. So it was kind of a case of watching it, the start of it, late at night is like, I don't know how long it can last. And then sort of taking a pause and coming back in the morning. So I'm a bit fuzzy on some details. But just with skill of that, sort of the aggression and whatnot that they had between the two teams was definitely good within this match.
Yeah, there's a lot of flips, and it's very fast-paced, and it's a lot of fun. But this is where cranky old man comes out. Because, like, so I forget who it is, but one of the Bucks takes, like, a Canadian Destroyer on the ring apron, and 30 seconds later he's back in the ring doing moves. And I'm like, God damn it, could you not sell that move? Because a Canadian Destroyer, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a pile driver, except it's a pile driver with a flip. So you basically, like, you grab your opponent and you, like, flip over and drive their head into the mat. And I'm like, you think you maybe should sell that a little bit?
Depending on how hard your cranium is.
I think you should probably be selling that.
The
But the Bucks retain the AAA tag titles in a really fun match, even if I have some slight issues with it. And finally, we get to the main event.
Yes.
We get to Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, where the winner will face Hangman Adam Page at All Out to decide the first AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this?
Mildly sad.
And the story going into it.
Mildly sad with going with all the particular stuff going into this. But on whole, it was definitely a good match just with everything that Omega and Jericho did within this match. Story-wise, I'm not exactly sure of all the gifs. It was mostly the case that Jericho was
Being a dick.
Yeah.
It's almost like that's what Jericho does really well. So basically, the general story is obviously like whoever wins the match is going to be challenging to be the first champion. And Jericho is like, look, I'm the biggest name in this company. Because, legitimately is. And he's basically like, I have to win because do you really want Kenny Omega as your first champion when you're trying to get on TV and attract new viewers? People know who I am. They don't know who Kenny Omega is. They don't know who Hangman Adam Page is. They know who Chris Jericho is.
Yeah, that can't be argued.
Well, no. I think if you took a poll of 100 people on the street and asked them who Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho is, a lot more would know Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Especially lapsed fans. Like people who don't watch anymore but probably did in the 90s. They would know who Chris Jericho is. They're not going to know Kenny Omega because most of his career was spent in Japan.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a pretty big wrestling nerd to know who Kenny Omega is.
Yeah. Either that or a person that just totally shows you Kenny Omega sort of things.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he did have a match against a 9-year-old girl. Oh, have you not seen that? Oh, you want
I supposedly wouldn't be surprised, but still,
It's so good. I think he also had a match against a blow-up doll. I know Kota Ibushi did. I'm pretty sure Omega did as well. Anyway. So what did you think of this match?
On whole, it was definitely a good match with everything that sort of went on, as well as the outside work, other sorts of stuff that happened. But
we'll talk about the aftermath later, because that's kind of another thing. But
yeah, that's true with the aftermath, but just with them going out of the ring, all the stuff that happened with that, Jericho literally grabbing a camera being like, ha! Kicked your ass. Shock out my eyes!
Yeah. So, Jericho wins a really great match after hitting his really shitty new finisher. The Judas effect.
Oh, that's true. It was just kind of an elbow sort of thing.
But it's like he's moving through molasses. Because he's like...
Yeah.
It's super slow and does not look good.
Yeah, somebody might need to send that through the offices again.
I understand that Jericho's 48 years old and probably doesn't want to take a lot of bumps anymore, but come up with something better, bud. That did not look good. Kenny gets a really great match out of Jericho, even though he gets a broken nose really early on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was actually broken or just dislocated, but his nose was clearly fucked up.
Yeah.
And then what happens after the match?
So, I don't think they specifically named him, but some guy
did.
Okay, I must have missed it.
So Jericho gets on the microphone and starts insulting the audience.
As Jericho does.
Basically calls them all shitheads.
Mm.
And nerds. So good.
And
then what happens?
so, I can't remember specifically if it was another blackout, but another wrestler decides to come in and beats the ever-loving snot out of everybody.
So his name is John Moxley.
Oh, okay, I did.
Formerly Dean Ambrose in the WWE.
Oh.
And he had only left like a couple of months before this. So he was still like very well known. Especially to the casual audience. So what happens?
Yeah, he comes in.
He just beats the piss out of everybody.
He beats the piss out of Jericho. He beats the piss out of the ref. Then he beats up or stands over Kenny. He's like, "Hey there, man. You head up?" Beats the snot out of him. And then Omega and him go all around the arena, just sort of fighting each other. Gets up onto the poker chip coins, and then Kenny Omega gets...
He hits him with a DDT, which is his finish.
Yeah, DDT off the side of it there.
And then I think he gives him like a Death Valley driver off.
Okay, the Death Valley vibe off of there, yes.
Onto the stage below. Which that looked like it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I'm sure that like the stage was gimmicked somehow, I'm assuming.
No, from the look of it, it looked like it was kind of...
It kind of broke, but...
Sort of rigged a bit to somewhat assist with it, but still, that did not look comfortable.
If this was WWE, it would have just been mattresses.
Yeah.
Or, like, fucking foam.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the debut of John Moxley?
He's supposed crazy person coming in, beats the snot out of people.
So I think it's really effective because it clearly establishes him as a top guy. Because, like, he beat the shit out of effectively 3 people. I mean, the referee kind of doesn't count.
Yeah, I suppose that, but then of course 2 that have already wrestled a whole bunch and are fairly exhausted.
Yeah, but he still laid out Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. Like, that still establishes him as a top guy.
Yeah.
So overall, what did you think of the show?
This is definitely a heck of a lot better than the last show that you showed me with the Penis Druids.
So you liked it more than All In?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's the big question. This company is going to be on TV in October. How likely are you to tune in after watching this?
It would mostly depend on how up to date you would supposedly keep with it. It'd be a case of you shoot me a text of like, "Hey, this thing's gonna supposedly be on TV. You gotta watch it." It's like, "Nah, I don't know. My TV has been on the fritz. Can I see it online?" It's like, maybe.
Probably. It's probably going to stream on Bleacher Report Live.
I'd be like, okay, I'll see how my schedule looks and see if I can catch it.
So, like, but would it make you interested in seeing more of this?
That's the possibility, depending on if there isn't anything else interesting going on.
Okay. So, I think it's a really fun show, and AEW is a super exciting promotion, because they're new and have a bunch of talent that probably wouldn't get a shot in WWE, but they're all, you know...
No, it's completely understandable. Like, any person, well, within my head, going from what I picture WWE kind of being to this, I would be like, yeah, pretty much 75% of all of this probably wouldn't be in WWE at all.
No, like, they wouldn't sign Christopher Daniels because he's too old. Because he's late 40s. So there's no way they would sign him. They wouldn't sign Nyla Rose because of the potential controversy. They probably wouldn't sign Angelico or Jack Evans. They probably wouldn't sign any of the Japanese women. There's a lot of people that they just wouldn't sign or wouldn't be able to sign. So I think it's really cool that like there's an alternative in the marketplace, and it's a pretty great alternative. What did you think of Kenny Omega's entrance attire? And did you get the reference? Because he came out as a Final Fantasy character.
Oh man, I don't specifically remember that.
It was Sephiroth.
I missed that.
Which is also what his finishers is a reference to. One-Winged Angel.
Oh, yes. That makes sense.
Yep. And I didn't turn it off when there was a Final Fantasy reference.
Mildly surprised.
Yeah. Anyway, so until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.